Sponsored by GoDaddy.com. Save 10% on your next purchase by using the coupon code CHRIS when you check out there. This one from Eddie Ringel, a co-developer of the Wicked Pixie WordPress theme. He's currently working on the next iteration of it, looking for other WordPress designers and developers. His question, Chris, do you think Google Fiber will whip the cable companies into shape, or are they too stubborn? I think if I was in an industry where Google jumped into, I'd be very worried. I would most certainly be using Google Fiber here in my house if I had the opportunity. I like Google. Do I like everything they do? No. I think some of the things they do are a mess. I think they need to actually hire a designer for once. But as far as Google Fiber is concerned, I think phone companies would have more to be worried about than cable companies. Google's got a name that most people can trust. They use Google anyway. They might as well say, well, I'm going to Google all the time. It's my home page. I might as well be using the Google Fiber too. And why not? So, fiber, of course, fast, information at the speed of light. If you had the chance to use Google Fiber, would you? I think it's going to drive down prices across the board. So even if I can't get fiber in my area, the chances of it becoming a little more affordable to me in terms of internet access, broadband specifically, and unfortunately I do not count DSL as broadband. I've yet to have a DSL connection that amazed me. It's glorified dial-up, folks. It's over the phone line. What more do you expect? I've been very happy, believe it or not, with Comcast. And I've worked with them in the past. They've been a sponsor of some of my events, which I'm grateful for. I've had my problems, too. You can go back and look at my blog. I had some big issues in upgrading my business class line. They gave me a really bad router, which was a part of a series of bad routers from Netgear. I refused to even put their equipment in my house. I've had nothing but problems with them. So once I was past a few of those hiccups, things were fine, smooth sailing. And I do pay out the wazoo, literally. My wazoo located down there. I pay a lot of money for the internet connection, but it's, I'm online all the time. I mean, this is what I do. I get online, create content, help other people make money through blogging, blah, blah, blah. So I need to be online. And I use a DSL line specifically for the live video feed. If I had a fiber connection, I would likely switch the live video feed over to the fiber connection and, from there have potentially a higher quality stream because I'd have the bandwidth to support it. But the DSL line can only go so fast. I can only push so much down the pipe before it bursts. So I think any competition is good, but I would certainly be very concerned if I was in that industry. I would start making changes immediately, if not before immediately. Cable should be worried, as should be the traditional telecoms. If Google gets into your industry, there's a reason to be concerned. I will go on record by saying that if Google Fiber becomes available in my area, and I've been waiting for Verizon Fios too, by the way, so I don't think it's going to happen specifically where I live here in Seattle. If Google Fiber becomes available in my area, absolutely. Don't care how much it costs. It could cost twice as much as my cable connection. I'd still pay it. Competition's good, especially when you want backup. Internet connection goes down, I've always got backup. DSL can sometimes go down. I've always got backup with the cable connection. Backup, backup, backup. Redundancy, redundancy, redundancy. I can't afford to be offline anymore. Who can? So I'm just curious, what does everybody else think about Google Fiber? Would you use it over your current connection? How satisfied? Generally speaking, because it's when problems exist with our ISP that we complain the most. But think about it. In terms of how often I use something without issue, I have far more problems with other products and services, and I just stop using them. In terms of the problems that I have compared to the lack of problems that I have, far fewer problems with Comcast and the like. So I'd expect Google to roll out just as decent service, and I've heard nothing but good things about Verizon. Quest I've had issues with, and I will never. I swear I will never, unless like someone contacts me and apologizes for the customer service nightmare that I had to go through. I'll never recommend Clear as a service, no matter how it's branded. It was horrible customer service, horrible, just horrible. They wanted to charge me for a modem that I no longer had. Clear, or it used to be Clearwire, and they're local too. They're local. They're clueless is who they are. If they look at half the customer service issues that exist, at least Comcast addresses the issues with Frank Eliason and Comcast Cares, and they do. They address issues. Clear doesn't. That's the question you got to ask yourself: is who's addressing your issues? When you do have a problem, does your ISP step up to the plate? That's a bigger question. And my ISP, I'm very grateful, does. And you know what? Even if I didn't know some people over there, because I don't know everybody, that's for sure. But even if I didn't, they'd still reach out because I see them do it a day in and day out. If you have a problem, tweet it. Trust me, they'll respond. At least Comcast will. I don't know about the others. That's kind of how I found out. How I made connections with them. I was like, thank you for, they didn't know who I was. It was just a customer service guy. I could be anybody for that matter. It's ultimately about that customer service. Thanks for the question.